Well, greetings and hello there, everybody. It's me, your beloved Star Wars dad, Nooch Too Good, and today I'm here to talk about some concerns I've got for Grand Arena and my desire for a real, actual, competitive PvP game mode in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Because, boys and girls, Grand Arena is not a real PvP competitive game mode. Let's talk about that, because on my stream yesterday, I kind of just came to the conclusion I'm punching up. You know, the name of my account is Nooch2 Punch Up, and we punch up all the time because that's the only thing we can do. And the problem is on both accounts that you can only punch up to a certain level, and then you have no ability to go any further, and you just start getting beat. And you often or most of the time have no control of your destiny. The question is not whether you are going to play better than your opponent. The question is not whether you have a better roster than your other opponent, because you're not going to. If you are taking Grand Arena seriously, if you are really working hard to play Grand Arena well, to get the right Omicrons, to farm your datacrons, to get your mods, to get your teams in order, to use SWGOH.GG Insight, to really push forward in Grand Arena, and you don't have an end game roster that's got everything on it, like our pal here has everything on it. Everything on this roster. If you don't have that, then you're just pushing forward and feeling like you've got to spend more to get to the end game, and you'll never get to the end game unless you spend $5,000 to $7,000 a year for a couple years in a row. Then you got to probably spend $2,000 to $3,000 during a year to keep up with it. There's just no end, and it's a game mode built to make you want to spend more. That's how I feel about Grand Arena right now. The gameplay is fun. It's sometimes it's fun. It's entertaining to play against somebody's roster, but when the constant battle is there of playing against somebody that has everything on their roster, and yet they're in Kyber 3, and I'm sitting there with my roster where I've got 5 Galactic Legends, and I'm still working on my Leviathan, and I have a lot of teams that are incomplete on my roster. I mean, I'm going in basically with at least one hand tied behind my back, if not a hand and a foot. I'm just pitching. I'm pitching it. I'm punting. I'm saying, you know what? I'll play Grand Arena because I need Grand Arena to generate crystal income on my account. Sometimes I'll win. Sometimes I lose. I think I'm past the point of taking any pride in being in Kyber and pushing it forward and punching up. Let's take a look at my account from 3 months ago, or excuse me, 9 months ago. And this is me back in March on this same account, getting to Kyber 3. This is the first time I got to Kyber 3 on this account. Now, since March, and I've always had Grand Arena has always been at the top of my mind as far as gameplay and what I'm doing in Galaxy of Heroes. Since March, I probably have spent $4,000 in this account. It's not something I'm comfortable doing. I don't really like spending money on the account. I have done it for you guys to advance the account forward, and we're always on this channel. We're always experimenting and reinvesting back in to see what we can do. So I've spent $4,000 on this account since March, and I view Grand Arena as the pinnacle of what we're able to do in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, play our roster against somebody else's roster in this game. I haven't moved. I spent a little bit of time in Kyber 2 before they squished me back down again, and I continue to punch up. You know, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. Sometimes we win because we outplayed our opponent. They always have more stuff than us. Whenever I do happen to play a roster that's got the same stuff as me or similar, I just wipe it off the board, okay? I'm playing at a high level of Grand Arena, but it doesn't matter. 9 months later, I'm still in Kyber 3. I just want to get that out there. This is not a competitive PvP game mode. I've expanded my roster since March. I've added Queen Amidala and the Poncho Bros. I've added the Gungans. I've added Balin Skull. I'm about to add Ahsoka. I've also, I believe I've added Jedi Master Luke, and there was another Galactic Legend that I added in there. Oh, I added Jabba since this time. Yeah. Oh, I had Jedi. Was that me? That was me. No, that was. Did we have Gungans? Oh, my opponent had that. I don't think I had that. Maybe that was mine. I don't know. Anyway, regardless, I've added a truckload of stuff since then, and I'm still in Kyber 3. So, yes, the little guy can punch up in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. You can punch up. You can beat bigger accounts. a lot of it's out of your control. You're gonna have to have better mods and more datacrons. You can do whatever. And by punching up and by beating bigger accounts whenever you can stay at the same level. There's a ceiling to this, guys. There's a ceiling. And I really feel at this point, I've kind of letting go of the idea that I'm going to be competitive in Grand Arena. We're going to keep playing Grand Arena on the channel. But I just continuing forward and really trying to really make, I don't know. I just want something that's competitive in the game. You know, make a game mode where you give everybody the same roster. You put us all into a pool of 64 players. You give us all the same roster. We all get like a Gear 12 roster with no mods on it. We get the characters there. We set up a similar thing to Grand Arena, set up a defense, play an offense, and we just see who comes out on top. We see who is a better player at the end of the day. Who ends up at the top of that group, who ends up at the bottom of that group. Honestly, I gotta be honest, I don't even care if you put rewards in it. You know, a minimal amount of rewards, no rewards. I want to play King of the Hill. I want to actually play a skill-based game mode in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I would love to do that. I would love, not only for the amazing content and the fun we could all have together doing it, but because I just want to feel like I'm moving forward in the game. I want to feel like I'm accomplishing something with all my efforts in the game, and I don't feel like that right now. Right now, I feel like I'm just farming a bunch of stuff to farm a bunch of stuff, and I'll never reach the end game, no matter how much money I spend. I mean, I guess I could spend enough to reach the end game and have all the characters farmed, but then I wouldn't have enough mods, and I got to spend a bunch of money to get all the mods. Then I wouldn't have all the Omicrons. I got to spend a bunch of money to get the Omicrons. And I think that's the goal of Grand Arena. And I think that the fear, well, I know that the fear or concern of them doing this, and the reason they're not going to do it, and it's really frustrating, and I don't know what to tell you guys, so, is because if they launch that game mode, then we're all going to start playing that game mode. We're all going to start trying to be competitive, and then they can't sell us any more stuff for Grand Arena because whatever. So, if you are buying things in game to try to get further in Grand Arena, you'll get a little further, quite possibly. You'll never get to the end of it. The only competitive Grand Arena is in Kyber 1. That's the only time that, and maybe Kyber 2 at this point since they've squished it down. That's the only time people are playing competitive Grand Arena. I've had people in my streams even say that they've got big giant accounts, 10, 11, 12 million, and they just take off, like they don't play 3v3s. Like they just don't play it because they don't enjoy 3v3s, they don't have fun in 3v3s. Them and their guildie do this, and then they come into 5v5 and just beat up whoever they're playing because they've dropped down during, like they'll go to 3v3 and get their 10 points and bow out, whatever, right? Then they'll come into 5v5 and they'll play it and just beat up whoever they're playing. And honestly, you guys, honestly, that's what's been incentivized. That is the incentivized activity in Grand Arena. That's what the structure of Grand Arena, it does. It incentivizes that kind of activity. We need some kind of like club tournament. You know, give us a tournament. Maybe even just like once or twice a year run it. We'll keep playing Grand Arena. If that's where the crystals are, we'll keep playing Grand Arena. And these Lightspeed bundles coming out just gives it more and more disparity. Yeah, so that's how I feel about it right now. I'm going to show you something else here. Now, you guys know that I'm always playing a free-to-play account. Right now, we're going after Lord Vader on that account. This is the spreadsheet that I was keeping to track my Grand Arena battles. I tracked about the first 47 of them or so, and I've kind of let off after that. I'll show you why here in a second. It starts off fairly even. I'm at 500,000. My opponent's 400, 900, and 500, or 496. Then it starts ramping up a little bit. 570 versus 580, 570 versus 1 million, 570 versus 651. And here's still kind of easy. So first 3 rounds of Grand Arena, everything was kind of even, you know, it was okay down there. Then all of a sudden, my 700,000 account is facing 6.7 million and 6.1 million. And I know some of you guys have reported this even when you just first time jumping to Grand Arena, 6 million accounts. I just talked about people that do that on purpose because it's incentivized in the game. I mean, that is the incentive of Grand Arena right now, is just play at a lower level, give yourself less stress. You'll get a few less crystals, but you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Trust me. Because you're not there. Again, there's no competition. You might get a small amount of good feeling because you beat a larger opponent, but then next time you'll face larger opponent. Next time you face a large opponent, you can't get to the end. There's no trophy, man. There's no trophy, boys and girls. It's a constant punch up. If you enjoy constantly getting beat in the face, I guess congratulations. I think I'm just done after 9 months of being in the same level of I think I'm just done with it, and I'm going to keep playing. But anyway, so we started to get a little bit there. Then it leveled out a little bit again. I finally faced another opponent that was actually lower than me for once here, And then it just starts escalating at this point. 5 million here, then we get up here, we're in like Carbonite 4 right now, and there's 4 million again. Carbonite 3, oh my goodness, it's just every time. 2.8, 5.1, 2.2, 2.4, 3.2, 7.1. Oh, we got a little respite here. 1.8, 1.4, 3.8, 4.8, 5.7, 7.3. And I got to the point where every single match is like this. Every single match. I am good enough at Grand Arena. I'm a good Grand Arena player. Okay, I don't know. I don't think I'm the best. I'm a good Grand Arena player. I build my roster toward Grand Arena. I know my counters. And down here on this, by the way, if you're looking at these, SWGOH.GG really doesn't help me with this stuff. I got to go in with weird counters like Gear 9 Bad Batch against Relic Darth Vader teams, stuff like that, and find ways to beat them and learn new counters. There's no blueprint for this kind of stuff, especially with the kind of account I'm building with Bad Batch and Iden Versio. So I'm getting creative with all this stuff, which is fun. We've done our experimentation, but to what end? And by the way, with all that, I was at the time I kept records here, I was 28 and 19, and I think I actually was. So I was actually 29 and 19. So I was about what is that? About a 65% win rate, something like that. So I performed really, really well against these guys. But there's just no advancement. There's just no advancement, and you just can't punch up enough. So that's my feeling right now. I would really, really love a skill-based player versus player game mode in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I don't think we'll ever see it. It's really disappointing, and it's unfortunate. I have to get my kicks playing skill-based. I play Wild Rift, mobile game on the side for me, because it's a game where it's just skill-based. Everybody gets a character. You can't pay to upgrade them. They all upgrade at the same level. The game is monetized by skins, and whoever's best wins. And I've gotten pretty good at that game, and I played on the side. There is no whoever's best wins in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. There is only get a bigger roster so you can face even bigger rosters, and eventually you'll get stranded in Kyber 3, no matter how big your roster is, until you get everything in the game. And then you got to keep up even more. And I'm just kind of done with it. And I'll keep playing Grand Arena on the channel, but I'm not going to make it a focus of streams anymore. We're going to just have streams that are chill streams, hanging out, playing the game. Grand Arena will be on there when Grand Arena's on there. When it's not, we'll be doing things like roster reviews. We'll be doing min-max. We'll be doing different events, assault battles. We'll be playing a lot of different stuff and playing around with Star Wars Galaxy Heroes to have fun. So I guess it's one giant sandbox at this point. Everybody always complained they wanted a sandbox. The whole game is a sandbox now. It's not. There is no end game if you're not in Kyber 1 and maybe Kyber 2. There is no competitive matchups. That's it. That's how I feel about it. Can we please get a game mode like that? I'd love to see it. Your comments in your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. See what you think. If you got ideas, what could be a competitive game mode in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes? I would love to see it. I'd love to get us something we could really sink our teeth into and compete with each other as players on the same level and just take our shots and see who climbs to the top of that hill. Everybody, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Always remember, Nooch too good. Hey everybody, we're here after the credits. If you want a little bit of fun, I'm gonna put the original video. I recorded a video for this last night, but I felt it was just kind of too meandering. And if you want to have a little bit of fun, you can watch this video too. Well, greetings and hello there, everybody. It's me, your beloved Star Wars dad, Nooch Too Good, and I'm here with what I guess, I don't know if it's bad news or good news or whatever news. I talk to more and more people every day that really don't see Grand Arena as their favorite content in the game, and I really feel like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, for 95 to 98% of us, has turned into mostly a PvE game with territory wars thrown in, and then Grand Arena being played at whatever level you're playing it at just to get your crystal income and that's it. I think Grand Arena, I'm declaring it today. It's official. It's official as my matches today. And by the way, I don't really feel especially sad about this. It's been building for a long time. We've all been saying it needs to be fixed for a long time, and our voice falls unheard into the wilderness. You know, we talked about the new update, and we got changes to that almost immediately, which is really super. We appreciate that, Capital Games. Thanks for responding to the community. But those who are not in Kyber 1 have been talking about Grand Arena for a long, long time now, and the matchups and how horrific the matchups are, and talking about, just generally speaking, how bad Grand Arena is, and it has fallen upon deaf ears. The original Grand Arena format was tremendous for people who wanted to be competitive. If you really want to take your roster and compare it to other people that had a galactic power similar to yours, you could get matched up with somebody and see who had the best roster. You played King of the Hill for 4 weeks, and you had a chance to come out at the top of the hill or not. There was actual competition between players and their rosters in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and that's gone. There's no more competition like that unless you're at the top of Grand Arena. Look over there today. Here's my match today. I won 2 matches. No, 3, sorry. I could not get through this guy. He put Great Mothers up there. I don't have a team, apparently, that can be Great Mothers. And so I got the win. Congratulations to me. I'll show it to you. It was not a competitive match. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't fun. It wasn't entertaining. It wasn't, and by the way, I've got a loss and a win here, both against accounts. We know that my account here, I'm sitting here at, what's my galactic power? 9.3 million. I'm dropping down in a squad arena, by the way, so I can try to test out Ahsoka here when I get her unlocked next week. So 9.3 million, and I've got 5 galactic legends, working on a 6th right now. I'll have 8 by mid-year next year. That's great. But all my opponents, every single opponent I get now has 8 galactic legends. They've got Reva. They have all sorts of stuff I don't have, with all sorts of Zetas I don't have, with all sorts of mods I don't have, and maybe some data. Usually Datacrons are about even, actually, because I farm Datacrons. But does it really, really matter if they've got a bigger roster than mine? The answer is no. It's not competitive. And I'm just done. I'm done trying to punch up. I'm not done covering the game. We're going to have a lot of fun. I think this is mostly a farming game now, and a game where you go into modes like territory battles, you play PvE. You go into modes like, I guess Galactic Challenges, play PvE. I go into Grand Arena to get my crystals afforded to me. I enter TW to play with my guild. And mostly I'm just making content for you guys at this point, I guess. What else is out there? What other content is out there? I find assault battles to be engaging. Again, I'm not saying like I'm on the edge here of quitting the game. That's not true. I'm just not. Well, raids are fine. I don't find Grand Arena to be an engaging game mode anymore. It is what it is. Sometimes I go in with a chance to win, very rarely. And often when I go in with no chance to win, I do win today by default, having nothing to do with my skill. There are 2 factors involved in Grand Arena. Well, 3 factors. There's a small level of skill, and I definitely punch up in Grand Arena a lot. We've seen it where I beat bigger rosters with my account because I have the right Datacron sets, because I have the right mods. That's not my account, by the way. Because I know how to counter certain teams. I use SWGOH insights. I make an effort in Grand Arena to do well. I'm going to show you guys that I'm not a moron, right? I've been farming the current teams, which gives you a huge leg up. If you are farming the current teams that are out there right now in the game, that gets you a giant leg up against people that maybe aren't farming them or whatever. But that's gonna slow down next year. I'm not gonna go after all these teams unless they're really accessible. I don't know. We'll talk about farming here in the future, because it's a whole nother animal with all the Lightspeed bundles and how should you farm if you're buying Lightspeed bundles. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around how farming works now with Lightspeed bundles. But I think I can officially and definitively say Grand Arena is dead for me as a game mode. So, and I'm gonna keep playing it. It's fine. I'm not gonna not play it. So let's go ahead. This is my most recent round of Grand Arena. I'll just play some of this. You guys can go watch it. We'll skip ahead here a little bit. Wait, no, we missed the whole thing. You missed the whole battle there. I skipped ahead like 2 minutes. Okay, so I went in against a guy, and he's got all these current teams. He puts them on defense. I've only got a few Galactic Legends. I don't have the options available to me. Now, if you're at the very top of Grand Arena, everybody up there has all of the entire game. You got the entire game in your account. You're buying all the new stuff. You've got mods going super deep. You've got datacrons that you farm. You got the whole spiel if you're at the very top of the game. Anybody not at the very top of the game, you're going in at random. And I played, I'll show you also here on my free-to-play account, I played that on stream today too and did nothing on that as well. It was me against a gigantic account. I'll show you my recent matchups in Carbonite Grand Arena, which is just gone. Carbonite Grand Arena, gone. It's gone. With the latest Lightspeed bundles come out, there is no competition in Carbonite Grand Arena at all. And I'll show you my competition for as far as Galactic Power that I've had down there. So you either go in and you face a giant roster and get pummeled, or you go in and face a giant roster or another roster, and if you're any good at Grand Arena, you're always punching up. Always, always, always. Every darn roster that I face is so much bigger than mine. It has so much more. There's the shock in my face. Has so much more stuff than I do. And I've been stuck in a Kyber 2 to Kyber 4 range for a year and a half. And I have no way out of it. My only way of getting out of that Kyber 2 to Kyber 4 range, and this is your only way too, the only way for any player in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes to really, I'm going to say, let's even just put Kyber 2 and Kyber 1 in the same boat. The only way for any player in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes to advance out of Kyber 2, or out of Kyber 3 into Kyber 2, no matter what your roster looks like, is to pretty much have every team in the game, and especially the new teams. Otherwise, you are not getting to Kyber 2. And if they somehow open up and they release the squish for a few months and allow you to get into Kyber 2 for a short period of time, they'll squish it back down over the following year. It's really frustrating. And I'm just done. There are no competitive player versus player game modes in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes right now. And that's the deal. So if you're playing the game, just settle in with it. And boy, look at Rey Liz, just a mess. What is with this? What is going on with this? It looks like she just came out of dental surgery. I don't understand the character mod. Can we fix this? Can we fix this? I mean, should I put some stuff? Hang on a second. Oh, that's awful. I just ruined 2 napkins for that bit that didn't even work. Anyway, hi, I'm Ray. I've got big jowls. Can we just fix that, please? It's just awful. Anyway, that's kind of what I'm saying. So, even in like, and we talk about Carbonite all the time on the channel with you guys, and here's my Carbonite matchup where it was the same thing. I had nothing to beat these guys with. I went against a giant roster, and I got nothing. Let's pull it up here. I want to pull up my spreadsheet. Yeah, there we go. So this is my free-to-play account. I've stopped keeping track, but I tracked the galactic power of every account, every Grand Arena matchup I had for the first 50 weeks, for the first 50 rounds, okay? Initially, the very first round, we were all pretty similar. This guy had double my galactic power, like, 80% more than me. Fine. Then it tightened up a little bit. Well, we had 2 rounds that were similar, then one guy was double my galactic power. Then I had a guy double my galactic power, then 2 more similar. So for the first 3 rounds of Grand Arena, it was actually pretty competitive. And then the thing just opened, it just went wide open. 700,000 versus 6.7 million. 700,000 versus 6.1 million. This was close. 780 versus 1.6. 780 versus 2.6. This is only one of 3 times, where I had more galactic power than my opponent. Getting killed, getting crushed. And I won a lot of these, by the way. All these. And now that I'm in Carbonite 3 and 2, it all looks like this. 1 million against 2, 2, 3, 7, 3, 4, 5, 7, 4, 2, 4, 5, 4, 3, 6, 3, 4. I've stopped keeping track of it. This round, it was 7 million the first round and 4 million the second round. And by the way, yeah, I win a lot of these. Is that a reason to keep it the way it is? No. No. It's crap. It's total crap. I would really love to know what kind of skill I have in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes playing against other people. Now, what could be possible solutions to that? Let's go back to my Grand Arena match here. Possible solutions to that, from my point of view, are put 2 players into a game. We're doing different things here. Put 2 players into a game mode let's have a game mode in the game where we have a game mode and you give us both basically the same roster. You say, here's your same roster. This is what you get. So when you're at 5 million, I don't know if this will work or not. Maybe, I don't know if we replace Grand Arena or be just a completely different game mode that's just there for giggles with limited rewards, but that anybody who really wants to see what they're made of gets dropped into this game mode. Here you go. Here's 8 people in a bracket. Here's 32 people in a bracket. Here's 64 people in a bracket. We're gonna whittle it down. You know, we're gonna round robin it. We're gonna have a playoff style thing. Everybody gets the exact same roster. Whether it's a roster circa 2018, a roster that'd be fun. Give me a roster that's only got Gear 12s on it, because that's all that's. I would love to. That would be fun. That would be fun. Give us a game mode like that. You don't even need to give us major rewards for it. For real. You don't need to give us major rewards for it. Now, I got a feeling that guys at the top of the game, somebody like Arnold or anybody else, they probably wouldn't play it every week, and that's totally fine. But I would love to be in a bracket where you put that together. And maybe you play your way out of that bracket, then the next month you move up to another bracket, so we can have the entire Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes community face off against each other. Heck, maybe there's no mods on these characters. No mods on the characters. They're all set at Gear 12. They're all set at Gear 9, whatever. No datacrons. They get all their Zetas. Whatever it is. You put us, just put us all together and let us play against each other. Let us play competitive. We can set a defense. We can play an offense. Let us do a Grand Arena style game like that. You don't even have to tie any rewards to it. Or minimal rewards or something with a stupid episode track. Whatever. I don't care. I feel really passionate about it. I'm really passionate. And if you're passionate too, please comment. Give us a competitive player versus player game mode in this game. It was so good when you had it. It was so good. And now we're left with my 1.7 million account facing off against a 7.7 million account. And if I win, I mean, there's no more farming directed at Grand Arena anymore. I don't even care about my own. It's like, why would I farm toward Grand Arena anymore? Because I'm not going to get to the end game. 99.9% of people never get to the end game. And that's fine. Again, I'm totally fine with that. Can we find a way to build a PvP competitive game mode? That's it. That's my final word. Please, I don't know why I'm on this page here. Please, for the love of God, Capital Games, give us a PvP game mode that is fun, that pits us against each other, that we actually get to exhibit skill or no skill, and let's have some fun playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, because I'm not having fun playing Grand Arena. In fact, now my streams are just going to be, we're going to be doing min-max stuff. On today's stream, I did min-max Grandmaster Yoda. I don't know if anybody cares about that, but it's fun to try. We played some Grand Arena. There was no real matching up for me. Fine. And then we did a bunch of roster reviews, which is fun also, but all the rosters are starting to look the same too. So that's it, man. That's it. That's all I got to say. Give me something fun to do. Have a good day, guys. Please comment below. I think we need to get the word out there. Find some way to get a competitive game mode. I'll talk to you soon. Always remember, Nooch too good.